Cherie is one of dozens of women in Oklahoma who've been prosecuted for testing positive for drugs after a miscarriage or stillbirth. I made a records request in Oklahoma for medical examiner data to get all of the data about the different stillbirths that were autopsied since 2015. We realized it wasn't just happening in Oklahoma, it was happening in Alabama, South Carolina, but also other states. When we started looking and we started categorizing the cases this way and going back to 1999, we found more than 50 cases altogether. And from what we're looking at, depending on the county, they're seeking even longer and longer sentences on these women.
My name is Cherie Mason. I am currently serving a 12-year sentence in Oklahoma for first-degree manslaughter. I was originally charged with first-degree murder after I gave birth to a stillborn, 2017 in Murray County, Oklahoma. Here's a little of my story. I'm 44 years old. I have 4 daughters. I have struggled with addiction most of my life. When I found out I was pregnant with the baby I'm here for, I was a 38-year-old homeless drug addict without anyone to turn to. I never do anything to intentionally harm my children. I will probably never be able to speak to my youngest girls because of the way the process portrayed me. I'm missing everything. I will be in prison until April 13th, 2028. I will be 50 years old when I am released.
This letter is Cherie Mason's last chance at an early release from prison, where she has been for 5 years since pleading guilty to manslaughter for the stillbirth of her daughter, Katie. She sent this letter to her oldest daughter, Tiffany, in hopes of finding a lawyer to help her case.
It's a family picture from when I was really little. The picture's so worn out and old. The frame's messed up.
It's a great picture.
And
is that you?
That's me, my mom, my dad, Debbie.
This is your mom?
Yep.
God, so she was probably only 16 in that photo?
Probably, yeah.
She looks so young.
Yeah, she looks that young.
Y'all really do look alike,
Yeah,
don't
I get
you?
told that all the time. You look just like your mom.
Cherie is one of dozens of women in Oklahoma who've been prosecuted for testing positive for drugs after a miscarriage or stillbirth. I made a records request in Oklahoma for medical examiner data to get all of the data about the different stillbirths that were autopsied since 2015. We realized it wasn't just happening in Oklahoma, it was happening in Alabama, South Carolina, but also other states. When we started looking and we started categorizing the cases this way and going back to 1999, we found more than 50 cases altogether. And from what we're looking at, depending on the county, they're seeking even longer and longer sentences on these women. A handful of prosecutors have brought nearly all of the cases in Oklahoma, most of them in rural counties.
This is a free call from Cherie Mason, an incarcerated individual at Dr. Eddie Warrior Correctional Center.
What did you feel like your options were when you found out you were pregnant and you were still struggling with your addiction?
I didn't feel like I had any options, none at all. And I was in a really bad place in my life when I found out I was pregnant with Katie. And we were homeless. We literally lived in the woods, you know, in like a tent, completely strung out on drugs, almost as bad as it can get. That's how bad it was. But I was very happy. I was really scared, but I felt like this was going to be my new reason to live. And I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, but the death of my child was the hardest thing that I will ever have to deal with.
It wasn't until a year after the stillbirth that Cherie found out that she had been charged with murder when she heard about it on TV.
A Murray County woman is headed to prison after admitting to using meth while she was pregnant and killing her baby.
Why did you decide to plead guilty?
I didn't plead guilty because I felt like I was guilty of what they were accusing me of. I pled guilty because I knew the way that it works here in Oklahoma, and if you take it to trial, especially in a small town like that, they're going to find you guilty.
Prosecutors who bring these charges say they see it as a deterrent, that it stops the cycle, as one Oklahoma DA told us. For those whose mothers have been put in prison, that reasoning falls flat.
It was up to the DA, and he basically said they're making an example out of her. I actually said my mom's more than an example. Like, we need her here. If you want to get to the core of the problem, you know, maybe make some kind of system to where we can help people with addiction a little bit more. Sometimes I really don't think that's what they want, though. I don't think they want to help people with addiction. I think they just want to make the people with addiction go away. I really do.
a group of Oklahoma doctors denounced prosecutions like Cherie's as harmful, writing in a public letter that prosecutors are ignoring medical science. There isn't scientific proof that using meth causes pregnancy loss, and the claim that it does is rarely scrutinized in court because most women, like Cherie, accept plea deals. Defense attorney Jackie Ford has seen an uptick in cases like these in recent years. We looked at cases in Oklahoma, Alabama, South Carolina, and the vast majority, most never went to trial. Has the evidence really been put on trial?
Sure. So I don't think we've seen enough evidence put on trial in Oklahoma to even have an even elementary conversation about whether or not we're doing this right. I think that they're trying to encourage women to make better choices so they become better moms. What they're failing to acknowledge in that is that we are stigmatizing further substance abuse disorder. We fail to offer services to families and children to stop the cycle of addiction, to stop the cycle of abuse, and then we just continue to prosecute them.
What options are there in Oklahoma for pregnant women who are addicted to drugs?
There is no safe place in Oklahoma for a pregnant woman who is struggling with substance abuse disorder.
Earlier this year, courts made it harder to convict women on charges of manslaughter or murder in cases of pregnancy loss. But that hasn't stopped prosecutors. Instead, some are opting to charge the women with child neglect, which isn't as difficult to prove under the law, and it also carries up to a life sentence. People make a lot of judgments based on your situation and your charge, but what would you want people to know about you?
That I'm somebody's mom, I'm somebody's daughter, I'm somebody's grandma.
Cherie has at least 5 more years before she might become eligible for parole.
So, what's been going down?
I've got some pictures to send you, and I got the envelope that you sent me.
Oh, you're gonna love it. It's gorgeous. And it's a cat lady, just like you are. So, everybody's seen your picture. Everybody here with your, I show all my pictures that I get off. So you guys are all kind of famous.
Yeah, it makes me feel pretty great. I think I have a hard time feeling important sometimes. So
I know.
But
you are important.
Thank you. You're important too. I wish that we were the type of people that could have afforded like a real lawyer.
So you think if she'd had money,
Yeah,
she'd been able to get a really good attorney?
If she had money, I really feel like she wouldn't still be in there.
What would it mean to you if your mom got out?
It just mean the world to me just to have her around. I want her to come live near us. I've had so many like big things happen. I haven't had my mom there with me.
Well, kiddo, I love you so much, and I'm glad everything's going okay.
I love you too. I miss you.
I miss you too. Well, maybe you guys can come and see me here pretty soon.
That would be nice.
All right, I love you, babe.
I love you too.
Okay,
Love you.
bye-bye.
The caller has hung up.